We're doing something a little different here. Hi, if this is your first time encountering me, my name is Alex Fonseca. I'm a part-time musician and a full-time smoker, though I'm doing my best to swap that around. I'm currently working on my full-length debut album, which is set to be released later this year, and I actually plan on releasing the first few singles off of it pretty soon, including
There's nothing right with me, it's just my destiny.
if you're into hard driving rock and roll and good music generally, you're definitely in for a treat. I've been a lover of music since I was a kid. It wasn't until I was 8 years old that I discovered the subject of today's video, Michael Jackson. Michael fucking Jackson. What really is there to say that's new about Michael Jackson? Well, I'd argue a lot. As someone who was only like a small kid in Michael's later years, it's hard for me to even really fathom just how huge and inescapable Michael was, especially in the 80s. There's a great Pitchfork quote where they compare Michael's fame as being on par with pizza and the polio vaccine, and when you think about that, it's actually insane. Michael was so big that he could just casually set records without even trying too hard. Even now, there's a movie coming out this year about him that honestly doesn't really look very good, but I'm probably still going to go end up watching it. That's Michael Jackson for you. As a musician who writes, plays, records, and produces everything himself, I have to contend with the astronomically high bar that Michael and his various teams set with their records in terms of songwriting, instrumentation, recording, production, mixing, you name it. And that brings us to this record, Off the Wall. Off the Wall holds a very special place in my heart for a number of reasons. It's my favorite MJ record, which makes it one of my favorite albums by anyone ever. I will go as far as to say that Off the Wall is one of the most important recordings of the 21st century.
My bad, I meant to say 20th century. Whoops.
Picture this. You're Michael Jackson. You're like 20, 21. 2 days after you release your first landmark disco single off of your debut on a new label, one that would establish your identity in a way you never had before up until this point. And you hear about a white supremacist riot in Chicago where they are burning disco records, funk and soul records, basically anything not made by some white straight guy. You know, Disco Demolition Night. Yeah, that was only 2 days after Don't Stop Till You Get Enough comes out. It's a night that kind of gets historicized as a watershed moment in the pivot of the liberal progressivism of the 1960s and 70s, civil rights, Vietnam War protests, feminism, and the white supremacist neoliberal turn of the 1980s, Ronald Reagan, Thatcher, supply side economics. But not only does it not affect your single, the single goes to number one. So does the album, and it's full of disco, funk, and soul sounds. The album gets pretty much universal acclaim from anyone who hears it. And it sets up the foundation for you to go on and become the biggest musician who ever lived. And on top of that, you're from easily the most racist country in the world, the United States. That speaks to two things. The power of Michael Jackson, which we've kind of gotten into, and the power of Off the Wall. And on that note, do you guys really need me to tell you how amazing this record is? I mean, let's just start with the collaborators. Quincy Jones, Stevie Wonder, Paul McCartney. Are you fucking serious? Like, Mike just casually enlisted these fucking legends to help him produce this album. It's like if I was dealing with some asshole I didn't like and I enlisted Goku, Superman, and Jesus fucking Christ himself to help me deal with it. It's just not fair. How about the songs themselves? All right, track 1, Don't Stop Till You Get Enough. Really, dude? Come on. Like, this song is so funky and so danceable and just so fun. Michael sounds like he's having the time of his life. Vocally, Michael was at his absolute best. I don't think his vocals ever sound as good as they do on Off the Wall. He's like 20, 21 here, so his voice is super youthful, super energetic, and just like really happy and carefree. And I absolutely love it. It's so infectious. You really just don't want this song to end. And as long as the song is, like it's like 6 minutes in length, you could just continuously keep listening and listening and listening to it. The end of it, where the chorus is just repeating and repeating and repeating, it's super hypnotic. You just get lost in the groove and you get lost in Michael's vocals and just like how catchy the song is. What a first single. I mean, yes, I know Michael released stuff before this on Motown, but like this is the first song that he had written by himself, and he co-produced it with Quincy Jones. He did co-produce it with Quincy Jones. I just fact-checked that. Michael's just on top of his game. He's on absolute fire on this track. Next track, Rock With You. Come on. Mike the Snare was right when he said that this is the song that you hear when you get to heaven. It's just magical. The song is written by Rod Temperton, who would go on to contribute tracks on Thriller. And honestly, this guy is such a great songwriter. Again, Michael just sounds like he's having so much fun and joy. There's this really youthful tenderness to his delivery that I really like. And especially with a song that is as delicate and romantic as Rock With You, I think it just works like magic. And I don't know, like there's something just super sparkly and whimsical about Rock With You that is just so indicative of just a time and place that you can't really replicate anywhere. It's just like, it's so colorful and it's so sweet that you just can't forget it. And the melody is to die for. Like that is it's so catchy and it's so sweet and well written. I mean, how do you even really like how do you contend with this? Like, I'm a musician. This is something that I want to recreate. Track 3, Working Day and Night. This is the absolute funkiest song on the album, and it just fucking works the entire time. It's so full of energy, and you do get a little bit of the paranoia that would sneak up on later albums, especially after Off the Wall, but it's more relatable in this case, and it comes from more of like a youthful anxiety rather than the kind of crushing reality of what it was to be Michael Jackson. We'll get a little deeper into that here in a minute, but it's just really great. It's really tense and it makes you want to dance, and Michael's delivery is absolutely perfect for the song. Michael just shows this range from going from carefree to romantic to just kind of frantic and paranoid. And, you know, within the first 3 tracks, he's just shown so much of his range. The next track, Get on the Floor. Get on the Floor is another banger, an absolute get you on the floor and dancing kind of song. Even if you don't dance, even if you don't like to smile, you're going to find yourself smiling and dancing to Get on the Floor. It's a really great, one of my favorite deep cuts from Michael. Quincy Jones's production also just really shines throughout these first 4 tracks. I mean, they're so beautiful sounding, right? Regardless of the great songwriting from Michael and his collaborators, it really just gets brought to life by Quincy Jones and his production. The music sounds incredible even to this day. It's still relevant. It's still absolutely influential. The title track, Off the Wall, comes next. This is a song about letting go and just having fun and, you know, forgetting about the struggles of everyday life, which, I don't know, sounds more relevant than ever before. And the song is as carefree and fun as you would want a song about being carefree and fun. Michael, again, sounds like he's having the time of his life. There's just an absolute infectious joy in this song, and it's so funky and well performed and well recorded. And that can go with any song on this album, but genuinely, Off the Wall, the title track, is one of my favorite tracks off of Off the Wall. Up to this point, you've had nothing but bangers, and this is just the first half of the album. The next song is Girlfriend, and okay, I'll give you this. This is not the best song on the album. It's like a 7 out of 10 lightweight kind of song. Aesthetically, it's probably the one that has dated the worst because it's really just pure like 70s soft rock, but I don't think it's that bad. I think it's pretty cute. I'm a Girlfriend defender. I think it's a cute song. And I think the reason the cutesy pie-ness kind of works is the song's songwriter, Paul McCartney. If there's any person in the world that can make lightweight, disposable, borderline trite pop music sound appealing, it's Paul McCartney. That track doesn't hold up as well as the other tracks on this album, but it's not bad by any means. Whatever ground is lost on Girlfriend, it's more than made up by the next few tracks. She's Out of My Life. Man, I used to not like this track a lot. I used to like really not fuck with this track. I thought it was a little like overwrought and a little bit melodramatic. But honestly, if there was any time in Michael's life where he could really sell this melodrama, it's absolutely here. She's Out of My Life is gorgeous. Michael's soul is just naked on this recording. It is just absolutely exposed, and it's all through his vocal delivery. He has such powerful control over his voice and can inject such emotion from his voice. And that is something that he will prove to do pretty much for the rest of his career. Here you get the first real and extremely raw demonstration of his vocal talents, and man, does it work. Quincy Jones's production on this track is really tasteful, and yeah, it is a little melodramatic, but also there's an extreme sincerity that comes out of Michael's vocal delivery. Even though he didn't write the song himself, it still feels personal and heartbreaking. And yeah, I definitely have shed a tear to this song. It's wonderful. The next track, I Can't Help It, it's written by Stevie Wonder. How in the world can this be bad at all? It's amazing. The song is so low-key and funky, but also kind of trippy. It's a little off-kilter especially for 70s R&B. Even despite how immaculate and polished this album is, there's still plenty of room for kind of off-kilter tracks like this one. I can't help it doesn't really sound like anything else off of Off the Wall, and I mean that in the best possible way. It's so smooth. Michael's vocals are absolutely terrific, and it's just masterclass. Next track, penultimate track, it's The Falling in Love. This is one of my favorite written songs off of the album. I love the bridge on this song. I love the guest vocalist on this song, and it has a great chorus. I would kill to write a hook like this. It's the falling in love that's making me high. It's the being in love makes me cry, cry, cry. Gorgeous, 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 gorgeous. God damn, this album is fucking amazing. Final track, Burn This Disco Out. Dude, what a fucking closer. This album has no bad songs. Burn This Disco Out is just like an absolutely electric, energetic, funky little dance track. Just an amazing dance album. Really, genuinely, it doesn't get better than this. Even the deep cuts on this album are fucking terrific. And really, honestly, like genuinely, I know it sounds like I have nothing bad to say about this album. It's because I almost pretty much don't. This is one of the greatest albums of all time. One of the greatest albums of the 21st century. I'll put it next to anything from the 20th century, and it'll hold up. This was such a perfect synergy of songwriting, performance, production, engineering, mixing, all of it, right? And honestly, I'm so lucky to have discovered this album at such an early age, because this album is in the DNA of the music I make and in the music that most people make these days, right? Most like pop commercial music, there's going to be influence from Michael Jackson, right? This album genuinely is life-affirming and beautiful, and it's one of those albums that genuinely makes me happy to be alive. And I think ultimately the reason why it is just it's so fun and joyous, and it almost feels like completely removed from everything else, and that's kind of the point. It's a kind of a land into itself, a land with color and joy and fun and even heartbreak, but it's all there, right? It's all there. It's a complete experience. This album is so amazing, and you really genuinely just have to hear it to believe it. From front to back, it is just a wonderland. It's just candy, and that's ultimately the biggest thing that I learned from Michael Jackson and the music that he left behind. Every moment of the song should be undeniable, even despite the clear professionalism of this album as well. It is such a fun time. It just sounds so easily made. It sounds so effervescent, and it sounds so just like it just flowed out of everyone. It's just this sugar bomb of joy and happiness, and honestly there really just is no experience quite like it. I really hold on dearly to the memories I have with this album, and for me it was the joy of my life when I was a young kid, and going back as an adult, as a musician, as a songwriter, it really just gets better and better with age. As I get older, as the album gets older, it just gets better. But undeniably, there's also a melancholy that I feel when I listen to it as well. In Pitchfork's review of Off the Wall, where they deservedly give the album a 10 out of 10, writer Ryan Dunball concludes his review as follows. Off the Wall is the product of a boy who was reared by his father to be a product, whose idols were often found on his TV screen, who understood his own commodification enough to want to reject it, while also aiming to sell a gazillion albums and unite the world and become the ultimate entertainer. There are many contradictions in that quest, and in hindsight, Michael's subsequent pitfalls almost seem inevitable. But Off the Wall was an unlikely moment of balance, when Michael Jackson's purity and innocence still seemed holy, not stunted or distorted. When he cried on record, he was living his art, giving us a genuine performance. I think this quote is right on the money. This album accelerated Michael's turn into one of the most influential people of the 20th century. Regardless of what anyone thinks about Michael and his legacy, his work is undeniably in the fabric of worldwide culture at large. But his unparalleled success is also where the tragedy lies. It takes a certain kind of person to become the biggest pop star in the world. It perhaps takes someone with those contradictory properties that the Pitchfork quote, provided. On Off the Wall, we see how the stars can just align. It's a reality where the dream of creative fulfillment and self-actualization is achieved, or at the very least, it seems within reach. Michael smiles and he cries. His worries and anxieties are relatable. It genuinely seems that any of his problems can be solved with a catchy chorus or a night dancing. And while it's not something I can fully speak to, there's something to be said about how important Michael's demonstration of love, joy, and heartbreak as a black man living in an anti-black world was and still is. On Off the Wall, we see the greatest arguments to the importance of pop stars. But the thing is, we know how the story ends. You know, for better or for worse, Michael becomes the superstar he craved to be. But the music was never this joyous or effortless as the music on Off the Wall is. The music got more paranoid and scarier. His life became more overwhelming and difficult to talk about. As exciting, upbeat, and life-affirming as Off the Wall is, there's also something haunting about it, especially listening to it in the year of our Lord 2026. The music will never not be amazing, but its place in history, no pun intended, will continue to evolve. I mean, living in 2026, it's hard not to see the timeless appeal of leaving the 9 to 5 on the shelf and just enjoying ourselves as much as we can. My intention was not to darken anyone's listening experience of this record. I think for me, this album represents the fleeting nature of time and, you know, the good times. This album is evocative of a time where Michael Jackson was not the biggest pop star in the world, but he was about to be. And you can see all the excitement in him, all of the desire to just show the world who he is and what he's capable of. But once he did, I don't know, it just didn't turn out for him. And there's something sad about that. Something to be mourned.
Hi everyone, thanks for watching. If you liked the video, hit like on it. Subscribe for more content surrounding, you know, me, and things I like. If you want me to make more videos about Michael Jackson, I'd love to. I have plenty of thoughts on him and all the albums that follow Off the Wall. So if you want to, you know, more of this, just let me know. Stay tuned also for new music coming out by me. I'm going to be releasing my debut single very soon. I'll get a release date as we get closer. And, the album also comes out later this year, aiming for like November, December. But yeah, just stay tuned for that in case you've heard anything that interests you in this video. So I'll be making a TikTok account for this YouTube channel and for me and my music. Follow me on Instagram. And yeah, thanks for watching.